Hello and welcome to episode 44 of the Cutie Art Crusaders for April 30th, 2013. Welcome back, guys. We've got something very special for you today.
Is it me?
Because we've got the gang back together. Don't jump the gun, you little bum!
I win.
My name is Rainbow Plasma. I'm the organizer and editor of this podcast, and today I'm joined by...
Pinky Dash. I do the questions, and I jumped the gun because I wanted to.
Yay! And you're back.
And then I'm Burn1, the special guest coordinator and editor and stuff.
And I'm Flutterguy317, and I'm the art coordinator. And we have a Pinky Dash back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that order makes me feel really weird because I'm still waiting for Pinky Dash.
I was all like, what?
Yeah. So yeah, we've got 4 people this week. We have Pinky Dash back from his trip to Japan, of course.
Feels crowded in here.
But we also have Flutterguy here, and I believe didn't last week.
Yeah,
say
I
you
said I wasn't going to be here. Yeah.
You're a liar.
You're silly filly.
No, that's what I took out of it. Yeah, that too. Yeah, he's a liar.
Yeah, no, I was
escape us.
originally going to. Well, I'm going to visit my sister this weekend. And I thought I was heading down today, which is the Friday before the episode's airing. But I'm actually heading down tomorrow. So I'm here.
Convenient for us.
Yay.
Cool.
Right.
So, did you guys remember what I was planning on doing this week?
No.
Second story of junk.
Oh, Burn, you know me so well.
Oh,
You just get right deep in my heart.
What?
I've missed
yeah,
3 weeks of stuff, so I've got no idea what's going on.
Well, you listened to
There's
last
a
week.
story
So
he wants to share.
last week I told a story to start the episode off on a nice
That's
little note.
clipboard.
Oh, I missed the start of it.
Well, you suck. But I told one story, and then I said I would save the other one, and these guys chose the corkboard story, and I swear to God, everyone in the chat was like, fire alarm story, dear God, fire alarm story, even though we're not live. So apparently people want to hear it, so I will tell it this week.
So entertained.
So a couple of weeks ago, on a Friday, I was just off of my second semester of university, and I was just getting into exam period. And so, in case you're not familiar with that, that's basically where you don't have classes, you just have the exams on certain days. And
Story time. Sorry, go ahead.
And so this is like my first Friday off in a long time. Usually I have like classes on Friday, like in the morning, so that I can come back and I can do the podcast in the afternoon. And I guess somehow I missed like a fire alarm announcement or something because I was just sitting in my room and it was about noon and I had just woken up and my hair was going in every single direction possible. And I don't know, I think I was just surfing the net to try and wake myself up. What are you saying?
You're complaining about your hair. It's like, you don't even know. Get on my level, bro. Sorry, continue.
Anyways, my hair was only a fifth of what Burns' hair is usually every morning. And so anyways, I was really tired, and all of a sudden I just hear this like loud, piercing noise. Not like a normal fire alarm, but like imagine what a dog whistle sounds like, except you can actually hear it. That's exactly what it sounded
Canadian
like.
fire alarms basically sound like banshees.
No, because I'd never heard of that before in my life, and so I was like, "Oh my God, what is this?" Just woke up. And so I like threw on as much clothing as I possibly could, and just like ended up like staggering outside into like the blinding sunlight, and it was also it also like snowed the night before.
Oh man.
And so I'm outside and I'm waiting out there, and I waited for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, I feel so stupid right now. And then someone walks out from my building, someone on my floor, and she passes me and she goes, "What are you doing out here?" And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, "You realize it was just a fire alarm, or like it was just a fire drill, right? They do it every week." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I was just out here stretching because it's early in the morning."
That's just what I do.
And so here I am. I'm gonna tell you what I was wearing. I was wearing shoes but no socks, sweatpants, and a sweatshirt but no shirt. And my hair was going in every single direction, and I hadn't showered yet. And I'm just like standing outside in the snow.
It's hot.
With like this weird outfit. Apparently, every single Friday since my university year has started, every single Friday at noon they had a fire alarm test.
Really?
But because I had always missed it via classes, or maybe I just went out to lunch at the time, I'd always missed it until this one day happened.
That sounds so like dangerous though. Like what happens if there actually is a fire on a Friday at that time? Like
well, the chances of that are so
Everyone's
small.
it's like, oh no, it's just a drill.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
Speaking of snow, it totally snowed while I was in Japan.
I know you got to see snow, right?
I did.
Yay.
that is exciting.
Yeah.
I caught it on my tongue and it was wet and cold and white and everything.
Remember you texted us. You're like, what is this frozen water from the sky? I don't know.
It's unknown to me.
Land of so many
I don't know which god
wonders.
to worship.
I did do
So much
that,
to
yes.
see.
That's awesome though.
I was actually there for the spring festival and it was snowing, so that was weird.
That's so cool. So where like you went to a bunch of different places, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool.
Care to share?
If you want to know it, read my blog. It's japan@japan.org.
I'm pretty sure that doesn't exist, and you're full of bunk.
Or maybe.
Bunk, I
okay.
say.
Well,
I want to know what kind of cool stuff you saw in like 8 and junk. You're
Yeah,
supposed
how
to
is
We
take,
don't
like,
really have much
85
time. We're already
pictures.
like 8 minutes into this.
This is
Nope,
true.
you're screwed. You better tell me what was cool about your
Food.
trip.
tell him one cool thing and then he'll get off your back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that.
I saw snow. That was cool.
God dang it.
And on that note, all right, I guess
Forget you.
we should get started because we're kind of
If anyone wants to know,
Along.
you can talk to me privately, or like maybe I'll like mention something cool like once every week. So like
So
next week maybe
sneak
you'll
'em in.
find out about the time when
oh, that'll keep
I
everyone on
went
their
on
edge of their
something.
seats for our episodes. Yeah,
No, just
I went on the bullet train as well. That was cool.
that's two.
Oh, there you go.
Stop
There
talking.
you go.
You can't. You
Technically
can't.
wow,
You,
jeez, God,
I got a cat
so
bus
much
plushie.
in one episode.
Cat bus plushie.
Oh my goodness.
Cat bus?
Nobody knows what that
You got
means.
cat ears.
What's
too.
a cat bus?
People know what they mean.
Nobody knows what the heck cat bus is.
Is
Yes,
it like
cat bus.
monorail cat?
It's like one of the biggest characters in like one of the most famous animes made by Studio Ghibli. It's amazing.
What's the name of this anime?
My Neighbor Totoro.
Never heard of it. You're lying. Let's move on to art.
Everybody in the chat, go and harass Rainbow Plasma with pictures of Cat Bus, please.
Please do.
oh, that would be hilarious.
This will make my
If you do
day.
it, you're all fired.
All right, so without further ado, our theme for this week is
Crab battle! Sorry.
Crab bottle. I missed that one. I wanted to be there for that one.
Yeah.
So,
I couldn't help
rarity
myself.
fighting giant crabs, yeah?
I had
yeah.
so much fun with the last episode.
Yeah.
I just couldn't contain myself.
It's fantastic. We don't have crustaceans this week, unfortunately.
No.
This week we have
Can we,
nightmare.
can we do snails?
I was thinking lobsters or
Were they crustaceans?
yeah, or crayfish.
Photo guy, please. Photo guy.
Yeah.
Please.
Sorry,
Photo guy.
Nightmare
Yeah,
Moon
just-
is our theme this week.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
definitely not what our theme is, okay?
Yes, it is.
Because I distinctly remember writing something different from that. Okay.
Damn you did. You read it wrong.
Yeah,
That's clearly
yeah,
something
it's
different.
true.
Because Rainbow Plasma is so good at keeping us on track.
Okay, so I will fix it. This episode is Fight Mare Spoon.
Why has there been no like
From crustaceans to silverware, only at the Cutie Art Crusaders. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice week.
Well, that was the stupidest joke I've ever made. Let's move on.
Silver Spoon and Nightmare Moon crossover stuff?
Be
Fight Mare Spoon.
fantastic.
Okay, cut that.
So our first piece is
Yeah. So our first piece is called "The Night's Reaper" by zoarvek, and this is a pretty cool piece. It's a silhouette piece, which
yeah.
like you don't really see this too often, in art.
Artsy
Yeah,
stuff.
I think it's because people are afraid to. I've always said this, but people are afraid to put their characters in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
People like to have like the light on the characters, have them, have all their features come out to the front. But it's nice to see this kind of alternative view sometimes.
Well, it's difficult, I think, in a silhouette to capture details, at least. But if you're going for a silhouette look, you have to kind of compromise the amount of detail that you put in, the character or the subject of your piece for like the surroundings and the outline, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I quite like what zoarvek, male? He? Yes, male. I quite like what he's done with because this could essentially be. It doesn't technically look like Nightmare Moon because you can't see any of the facial features. You can't really see the detail in the armor. But what he's done is he's highlighted little bits of it with the blue in Nightmare Moon. So just on the back of her tail there's a bit of a blue shroud, and then the magic around her horn. All of that, you can't see that and not think Nightmare Moon. Like if it was, you can't even really see wings. It's like a cape there. Like that could be one of Celestia's guards if you didn't really know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of it's dead giveaways to like make you think it's her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
especially like.
Sorry. Go.
What? No, go ahead.
No, go.
I like
I'm
when
done.
you talk. Fine. No, her little hoof shoes for like royal hoof shoe thingies. Like that's another giveaway. And the fact that it's like an alicorn body with the color blue is also like a dead set, like you think Luna. And then there was like the whole episode in season 2 where she like kind of wore the cloak, I think.
Well, I thought it was a lot more subtle than everybody keep going. Well, there's all these things. I thought it was. I liked it. I thought the little stuff that he did was good to add in like the little hints at things. I mean, yes, we all know, but based on just looking at this picture with a little bit of knowledge, you know, it still does very well without like, telling you.
A huge chunk of what art is like understanding the context in which it was created. So like obviously a non-Brony looking at this, like, what am I looking at? So like a huge part of understanding art and like even art history is like, what is the cultural context of this piece? And in this one, it's ponies and Luna. So when we look at it, we have these subtle cues that let us know Luna, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I also really like what he's done with the tree and curved it around the around the moon.
Yeah, like kind of it really brings in like that circular central composition.
Yeah.
It's actually really well done. I enjoy it.
I was just gonna say I really like the composition in this piece. Especially I like how at the edges it fades to black in a circular pattern kind of thing, so the focus is really on the center of the piece.
Something that I like that really messes with me.
I just thought that was my monitor.
Something I like that really messes with me is those trees in the top left.
Yes.
Because it's like, it looks like a flat kind of like horizon composition, but then there's those trees there. And it kind of doesn't make sense, but it's like your brain kind of wants to make sense of it. And like maybe they're like branches coming down from the side, but there's no real like defining detail. So like this piece like leaves a lot to the imagination, and silhouettes do as well. And I have some cool stuff to say about silhouettes, but I'll wait if you guys have any more like points you want to bring up.
Well, in terms of those trees, it's like it does give the piece some depth, because if you cover them up, I mean like the big tree in the center kind of gives it a little bit of depth, but if you cover up the branches over to the left, you know, it kind of makes it a lot more flatter of a piece.
Oh yeah, much.
So
yeah, that vignette does a lot. Didn't notice that.
And
Wait.
Remember, Plasma, you'll like this one. Bottom left-hand side of the image, which you probably can't see in the video, is a teeny tiny little signature. You like those?
Oh, Jesus.
Probably be a little bit bigger. I think you're using the wrong word, though, Burnt. I think it's a vignette, not a vignette.
Sorry, I say it how it looks. Vignette, I believe is how it's pronounced.
I could make her to sell it. And then
You're not allowed to laugh first at your own stupid jokes, Burnt.
I think I'm hilarious, so I can't help it.
I'll second that motion.
Say what?
I said I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
and I said you're pretty.
Anyway, so we don't take too long in this one piece. There was something I wanted to say about silhouettes. Fun facts. The human eye is actually extremely good at picking up silhouettes. So when you have a decent silhouette for an art piece, for in this case it's like a pony and a tree, it's just the outline of something. It's something that's very easy for the eye to pick up, and like the human eye really picks up on those distinct shapes of something, of like a character, something that we know or recognize, like a human body, or in this case a pony body, or an alicorn, or trees, or whatever. It's very easy for us to like visually understand. So once you have like a decent silhouette in an art piece, you can almost do anything you want to the details on the inside, but it's very hard to mess up an art piece once you have like a very distinct silhouette. It's kind of like how when we talk about like Rainbow Plasma and Lex talk about line art, and you have really good line art, it's very hard to mess up a piece from there. So with a silhouette, it's kind of a similar concept that once you have a very good silhouette that's easy for the human eye to understand, you can add very, very subtle details, and it won't like subtract from a piece or make it worse, and it'll make it better. And like sometimes the less of what you have, the more it creates for us to kind of let our mind fill it in. So with silhouettes, it's really all about like our mind filling in the parts that we don't see or there's not a lot of like descriptive detail to. So like the branches of the trees or like the majority of Luna's cloak and body. But there is some like shading on the bark, some very subtle like detail to help us or guide us in like what is there. So like the bark on the tree or like the little folds in Luna's cloak. And then again, like her hoof marks and magic and horn and then the color blue that really comes through. So it's like, I really like this piece because it was like a really good talking point about silhouettes. And there's actually a point I wanted to bring up about that. I was talking to Genji Lim, if you remember him from our episode last week. He did the first Rarity Fighting a Crab piece, the value study.
Crab battle!
And he recommended to me, because I asked him about his value study, and he recommended to me some really awesome video tutorials by Feng Zhu. And he has a graphic design school called Feng Zhu Design. And he has a website called fengzhudesign.com/tutorials. And if you go there, he has some really cool, like, basically different tutorials from anything about composition to value to you name it, and mainly based around concept art. And it really talks about these things, and it's really cool and informational and educational, and you should definitely check that out. That's pretty much where I got everything I just said. But
Cool.
Anyway.
Cool. All right. I think we've spent enough time on this piece. It's a great piece. But we're going to move on to our next piece, which is called Ponysketch Nightmare Moon by Cosmic Unicorn. And this is...
Now, there's a name I've never heard before.
This is very interesting of a piece.
I quite like it.
I don't know how this was done. They have a speed painting of it, but I haven't actually watched it.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about Cosmic Unicorn is that with a lot of people, they start with a clean white slate and they add on to that. And no matter where they end up, whether it's like grungy or anime or whatever, they always start with that clean slate. I always get the impression with Cosmic Unicorn things that she isn't starting with something like a clean slate. She's like, almost like she's starting grungy and then making things out of it, you know? Like a lot of her charcoal stuff.
I don't want to cut you off there, but according to the whole time lapse thing, it does start with a clean slate. And she's
I don't mean like physically,
Yeah.
but I mean I get the feel that some people start with I get the feel that some people started with white and added on to it. This feels like she shaped something out of the. I don't know. She has this very like. I don't know. There's only negative words for it, but like murky or grungy kind of style to some of the pieces she did, like this one or the piece she did of Us, and I just find it really cool, like her charcoal work and other things like that. How it's kind of, it looks like something is formed out of the grunge as opposed to an addition.
Yeah.
I definitely get that feeling with her work too. And like that's not a bad thing to like start like grungy or dirtier and like work something out of it. It's actually a very common way to work when it comes to like painting traditionally or digitally.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes it kind of... It makes the subject blend into the background, which is always a good thing, too. Because consistency throughout an image is definitely good. Yeah. If you're drawing, I mean, you don't want your subject to pop out or seem like it's misplaced in a background, and that, I guess building up like both the background and the subject itself to be grungy at the same time kind of attributes it to a more complete piece, I think, overall.
Yeah, no, well said. I like Cosmic Unicorn's style, especially like her style, like you mentioned, with like kind of that grungy tone and everything kind of like blends together. One of the reasons I'm such a big fan of Cosmic Unicorn is because she has a really huge, like in all of her work, she puts a really huge emphasis on like kind of doing it traditionally or true to like old fashioned traditional like ways of looking at art or doing art, because like she's in art school, she's an art student, so she's kind of very traditionally minded, and she brings that into her pony work, which is really cool to see, especially in pieces like this. Like it looks like a dark grungy canvas and like she's painted something out of it, and a lot of her work looks like that. So I don't know, she's like she has a very unique style in like the pony world and how her stuff kind of like is created and looks in its final form and stuff like this.
Like a lot of it is digital work, but she's obviously got a huge traditional influence and makes things come out in the end looking like, traditional, or at least a blend of the two, even if it is 100% digital.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because she'll actually make traditional pieces too that are like actually oil paintings, and then I'll look at them and like I can't tell if she did them digitally or traditional. Like like one of her, the one I did a master study of, she did it traditionally and then brought it into the computer and then put digital like things over, what do you want to call that, filters over it. So like she does both. She works traditionally and digitally, and like puts them together and a lot of stuff.
Was her remember the one that she did of us?
That was traditional. She actually straight up painted that in her sketchbook with charcoal, which was awesome. I'm going to put it on the screen because it was amazing.
Yeah. I thought I remembered that being traditional, but I wasn't 100% sure because I know she's so good at it that for all I know that could be digital.
Yeah, I love that piece. It's awesome. I look at it as like inspiration. Like I don't want to be able to sketch like that. You know what I mean?
It's fantastic as an artist if you can like work in any medium or with any technique, like traditional versus digital, like with Cosmic Unicorn. You know, she does fantastic art in both methods, and it's so cool that she can just switch it up and even incorporate elements of both into her pieces. Yeah. So yeah, I mean this piece, it's pretty cool. I like how she did the mane and the feathers.
Yeah, it's like kind of like paint dabbed, and then like the feathers are kind of like strokes of color.
She's done what I love what people do when they make pony pictures like this, is they've emphasized what makes them unique. So she's emphasized on this one, she's got the gigantic horn and the gigantic wings. She puts so much emphasis on those wings. I love it, especially with Pegasi and alicorns like this. The wings are what make them unique. So I love when people focus on that. Also, the eye stands out, which is cool. I always look straight to the eyes.
This piece is so ominous, and like how Nightmare Moon's kind of like portrayed with like the huge wings, like lengthy body, and those like evil squinting eyes. And then like the kind of the composition of the background kind of like starts dark and fades to light. It's pretty cool.
Right, yeah.
Are you jealous of that horn, Rainbow Plasma?
Should be.
Love it.
All right. I think we could praise this piece all day, but we have to move on to our next piece, which is called Nightmare Moon by Ziam05. And this piece is so detailed.
It's as with most
that is Ziam05. Yeah, everything by him. But yeah. It's
I quite like this one where it's you can't see her face. I haven't seen that in anything else. Like the armor covers her face completely. And it's in shadow. It's great.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it really gives like a lack of identity to the character. Almost like Luna has lost her identity. Like she's got another marking feature, her cutie mark. So it's obviously put out there that the pony is supposed to be
Queen of the Night.
But he definitely tried to give a feeling that the true identity has been lost because there is no face, even though the character is looking directly into the camera, or at least in a way that we should be able to see her face. But it's evidently we can't.
Yeah, I find it fascinating the way that he did her mane, and how basically her mane is a window into the night. Because from the rest of the picture, it's daytime. Like, the sun is in the middle, but as soon as you look at her mane or her tail, it's nighttime.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
it's a really clever way of subtraction. Everybody initially thinks of it addition. You add the pony, and then you add the hair, and then you add the accessories. But smart. This is evidence of smart planning. And just a general thought process when making this art piece.
Yeah, watching his time lapse for this piece was really, really cool, because it shows like how much detail he really goes into. Like when you look at this piece and like its full resolution, it's like what he uploads to DeviantArt isn't the full like huge resolution of this piece. It's actually gigantic, and like watching him carve each little piece of the armor and each little tiny detail, you can actually see more detail in the YouTube video than you can actually see in this piece. But I mean, like there's tiny little spots of blood all over the armor, like on her chest area there. Like you can kind of see in that wing that goes up her neck, like there's all like little individual spots of red, and like each little piece of that the feathers and that little metal wing are like shining on the edge. And like how deep he goes into each little tiny detail of this piece is ridiculous.
Well, that's just typical Zymo 5.
Yeah.
If you have a look through his gallery and the stuff that we've featured before, it's
so like the point
that.
applies to all his work, but still, like seeing him work on all of it in like this ridiculous time lapses, pretty amazing, really.
Mm-hmm. That armor especially is very impressive. Just like, I don't know.
If I may pull a term that we learned from Spirit, about a month or so back, there's definitely some subsurface scattering you can see through the. You've got the sun. I don't think, is it directly behind Nightmare Moon's head, or is it to the left? It doesn't look like that might be. Anyways, there's a sun at some point. There's a harsh light source coming from behind, and you can see it in the armor. You've got that highlighted little bit, and also underneath, on the torso. Right underneath, you've got a little bit of that along the bottom and on the armor and stuff, and I thought that was pretty cool.
It was cool. It's like that warm, deep light, and it hits the edges of things, and then as it carries over to like underneath the side of the wing and stuff, they are cool. As she was mentioning, like warm light, cool shadows, things like that.
Yeah, and I think the whole transition from day to night also kind of makes that whole thing complete. Shadows in this case are cool, and the light hitting it is warm, and the cool shadows are also where the mane and tail are, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. It's like, it's not just the warm to cool shadows. It's just, it's also the warm to cool composition. There's a huge warm streak kind of diagonally in the middle of this piece. And then there's those huge cool spots in her mane, and then in her tail and body, and like the lower left and her wing. So it's like there's a separation of like warm color and theme to cool, even in her armor.
Yeah. And it's just like, the way that it's all lined up just makes it so good.
Creates a lot of dynamicness in how the piece is laid out.
I think it's important too to look at some of the anatomy as well, and I think this piece is pretty good proof that anatomy doesn't have to be perfect as long as it fits within the scene. If you look at the wings are gigantic.
It's
absolutely humongous,
which is good.
And another thing, like the body, for example. If you look at it straight from an anatomy perspective, it does bend at a weird angle, and there's a couple of things like that. It's a little bit weird.
Like an odd
but
bone
it fits
structure.
the composition.
Yeah. Like there's a bit of an odd bone structure, and like her leg that's raised, her front leg is like a little small, and then like her back leg from her first joint to her second joint is a bit long of a bone too, maybe. But it's like, it gives kind of like a lankier, bonier feel, in a more like surreal, evil, kind of like, what do you want to call it? Like body type for a pony, really. It's like, it doesn't really look like a real or believable, horse skeleton. It's different. It's unique. It's more like when you see an evil figure, of like a person, he's normally like, he's built differently, he's kind of lanky, long spine, maybe he'll like hunch or something. So it's like this body feature is very unique, in how it's built and like how it's like designed, kind of giving it that more evil, ominous feel. Something
that's common to all cartoons is when you've got good guys or good characters and evil characters, the good characters are always like soft, rounded sort of shapes, whereas the evil characters are always pointy, tall, lanky. It gives that more of an onomous, evil feel, so he's done well with that.
Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make.
You see it in almost every single cartoon that the good guys are always soft, rounded, sort of mellow colors, where the evil characters are always pointy, dark. The only exception I can think of is Powerpuff Girls, where him was red, which isn't really a dark color, but everything else you'll see is like sort of the darker versions of colors, and always pointy. There's no softness.
Yeah, think Dexter versus
Mandark.
Mandark, thank you.
Also, in terms of the wings being huge, I mean, have you tried to lift horse armor with
No, but I've paid for it before.
But yeah, giant wings. I love the wings. I love the wings.
I don't think anyone got that reference.
I got it. I liked Oblivion.
Yeah.
I don't know what Oblivion is.
Yeah, I pretty much
Burned
paid too.
hugs.
Yeah.
I don't know what that
You're getting
thing
me
is,
today.
So.
We're having a mental connection, Burned. and it's all good with me.
It's like we're brothers, but closer.
Speaking of mental connections, Ted, I'm sending you a mental connection right now.
move to the next piece?
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Oh, I'm so
Move.
good. All right. So our next piece is called Mistress of the Eternal Night by Chio-Kami, I believe.
Chio-Kami.
Yep.
Chio-Kami?
Chio-Kami.
Ooh, Chio-Kami sounds too good to pass up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Chio-Kami.
I don't know. Pinky Dash, you're the resident, like, Japanese sounding.
You're closer.
I would call it Chio-Kami.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I'm actually closer.
Chio-Kami.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Chio-Kami because whenever I see Kami, it's always Kami. Like Kami, like Kamigawa was a block in Magic, and it was spelled C-A.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, we'll go with that then.
I would take away your speaking privileges, but I understand that your speaking privileges are on all the way for this piece.
Burned. Take
They're
it away.
aptly based. Ironically, it's like I don't have a lot of like gushing points about this piece other than I love it. So I guess that's enough. I can probably find stuff to gush or rant about it, but it's like, oh, where do I start? Like how everything's made, like how all the colors interact. It's just genius. I haven't seen anything that's really captured me in how it's made and how the colors are laid out in a long time. And I really wanted to feature this piece for a while. This artist, Chio-Kami, isn't like directly a pony artist. This was just a piece that was in her gallery, that had to do with ponies, and it's really unique, I guess. And I'm really sucker for like unique art pieces. It's like from where do I start to like dissect this piece? Like let's look at the hues, like just like the use of hues, like from purple to blue and then pink. It helps how it all blends together. It's like separates like the focus and like things in the background. I don't even know. Like I want to know what you guys think about this piece, because like I love this piece and I love a lot of things in this piece and like how they're used. But I mean, even like the little subtle hue of like the orange touches in Luna and stuff, and it even comes out in like the clouds. It looks like an amazing traditional piece, but it's done digitally. And like I don't know, I was fascinated really.
And you've got all that gold as well for highlights.
Yeah.
If I may, I don't want to say like what my general opinion of the piece is, because personally I'm not a huge fan of it. It didn't grip me the same way that it gripped you, but I did find something really interesting with it, and it was the way that it used lightings and reflections. Luna by herself is quite the dark pony, and as we were mentioning before, dark is usually associated with bad or evil or villain or whatever. And the interesting thing here is that we've got two characters that are quite dark. We've got Luna and we've got Nightmare Moon. And so in order to differentiate between the two, Luna has got a lot of light on her, and she's very reflective, and she's got a lot of depth and a bunch of light to her. Even her mane is like very, very highlighted compared to what it normally would be. Whereas if you look at Nightmare Moon, she's completely flat, two-dimensional, pushed into the background, and no reflections on her. Her coat is just
kind of like recedes
black
into the night. Like she's the same color as the sky behind her, so she's kind of like is the night.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting way of taking two dark things and making one of them dark and the other one light, like relatively speaking.
Yeah, that is an interesting point. So like how it's made kind of like dictates the narrative, which is like really cool considering.
You can't the way she's done it. You can't really tell where Nightmare begins and where the sky begins. Like she sort of blends into the background like that. Like if you have a quick look at it, it looks kind of like the clouds are her mane, but it also looks like the sky is her tail. So it's a bit strange there. I quite like that. It's like she's a figment of her imagination. Just trying to run from it.
Yeah, I do like how the mane and tail were done very smoke-like, kind of blending in with the clouds and stuff like you were saying. And Bernd, I have to agree with you. I love the colors on this piece and just how they interact with each other. Because I think this is an analogous piece, right?
No, it's definitely analogous. The areas of like orange and yellow, you could say, are a complement to some of the blue and purple, because yellow is purple's complement and then orange is blue's complement. So she uses those complementary colors in Luna and in like the reflections to really make it pop. So the blue and purple throughout the majority of the piece is very analogous. But the yellow and orange are very complementary. So I'd say it's a complementary piece because it has those highlights. Has those highlights in it. But you could even go as far as to say is that it's a, what's that fancy word that website had, a quadratic color scheme, because it has 4 colors mainly, using the majority of it.
And this was a daily deviation a year ago.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
that's awesome.
So it's like this, as far as like finer art pieces go, this one seemed like really up there in like a fine art piece, and I really wanted to like feature it and share it and like make people go see it and like maybe take inspiration of it or from it or something.
Yeah.
Adding to the whole nightmare as part of the background thing, if you look at the very, very tip of her horn, there's that star. Can't really tell if that's her magic or if it's actually a star in the background.
Could be both.
Yeah.
It is brighter than the rest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does, like, shows off the tip of her horn.
Her long.
Maybe
horn.
you know, this could be. Don't use it. This could be, you know, a technique. Maybe that star wasn't there originally, but because the horn is black and the background is black, you know, maybe it was just put there in order to help make it look less weird. If that's a way to say it.
Well, it kind
I
of.
think it's there for a reason. Like it shows.
Well,
like,
no, but I'm saying the reason might be, you know, there's nothing wrong with having something that fixes something, but I can imagine the artist drawing this all out. You know, the wings are defined by the outlines of it, but the outline of the horn might have looked weird. She or he or whoever might have tried to do the outline in the same way as they did the wing, and then they found that it would looked weird. And so in order to kind of in order to get the horn to stand out from the background, in order to just complete the character, that might have been added there. And then it also has this effect of being at the end of the horn and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
It's just, it's really cool how Luna is shaded, colored, painted. She's like, again, as you notice, she's the opposite of Nightmare Moon. Like, she's very 3-dimensional. She has a lot of shading and a lot of color and like reflection put into her. And like how all the colors are used and edges of colors. Like I used to nerd out about it on some of Mewball's pieces, which or even a Caramel Brulee, or what was the one with Colgate? What artist was that again? Do you remember?
Oh no, which one?
The one with Colgate, where it was like the blue composition we had in our Colgate piece. It was like
Was that
the one that was all blue?
Yeah.
Ankylosaurus.
Ankylosaurus,
yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So it's like it's similar to the Ankylosaurus piece, but instead of using like subtle shifts in hues or like violets, it's taking that sharp contrast shift in a hue to show different details and separate colors from each other and separate details. And it's just very, very well painted. Yeah, and like that was my last point. This is amazing painting, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely fantastic.
Okay, well, Bern doesn't get to say the last thing on this one. I want to.
Go ahead.
What you were just saying a second ago with Luna down the bottom being all 3D and shaded and colourful, and you can tell she's an actual pony. It just lends more to the fact that Nightmare looks like a figment of her imagination that she's trying to run from, because she's not 2D, she's not shaded, whereas you've got Luna down the bottom there, which is all amazingly real, but you've got Nightmare up there, which just isn't. She blends into the background, and
she's like a part of the clouds.
Yeah, like I just love the way that Jiayi has done that.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can move on.
Okay.
And I apologize in advance for everyone who is going to be clawing their eyes out of the next one because of the color change.
What?
Going from this dark piece to a bright in your face one. Just warning.
Yeah.
Not that bright.
Allow your pupils to adjust. Our next piece is called Princess Luna by... how do you pronounce it?
I like Jiayi.
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 I like Jiayi. I think that's simple.
I'm going to go with
Jiayi.
Jiayi.
Yeah.
You need
okay, we just had this 2 weeks in a row now. Just I like Burns. Short and simple to the point. Jiayi.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go with Jiayi.
Okay.
Jiayi. Just say Jiayi.
Yeah.
You didn't have anything to say, you just said Jiayi? Okay, cool. It's an anime style, and I like it, and it looks really cool because I like clean-cut pieces. This is a clean-cut piece. It has very solid shading, and it looks really cool, and also very cute, so ha!
Line art's good.
It's much more close to show-accurate sort of colours, where you've got... There's no... In the ponies themselves, there is no absolute colours. So you've got... There's no black, except for the little bits which are, like the eyelashes. Luna herself looks very, very close to her show colour. Nightmare in the back is grey and purple, which is cool.
Yeah, completely not a show color.
Yeah, but the main focus, Luna herself, is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to have Nightmare Moon take up a majority of the space on an art piece without having this giant gaping black like void in your piece. You know, we've talked about, especially Burns has talked about black as being a void in art pieces, and it's very true. And so it's hard to attempt to have a full bright piece when you've got a very dark character in the background. So obviously this artist took a few liberties with the color, but like Pinky Dash said, Luna herself is quite accurately colored. Although she does have season 1 main and season 2
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Brony sticklerism.
It's also
no, I like it.
It's interesting because this piece was just
I'm
released.
not saying it's a bad thing. Go ahead. Put it
This piece was just created and released in March. But it's an interesting choice to do it that way. It's kind of like a mix of the old and the new.
Best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Artistic freedom.
Yeah.
I feed on your tears.
Nom, 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 nom.
I find it interesting that this piece, kind of like the what piece? The piece by Zyamo 5 has this kind of split, except it's horizontal instead of vertical. Where the top of the piece is kind of a lighter shade, like in the background, and then Nightmare Moon, the wings kind of cut it, and at the bottom it's a darker piece. It's not like as noticeable because there's no shift from warm to cool, but it's it's two different values of cool colors
And two different hues.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely noticeable. I mean, I know Burns going to want to talk about the clouds, so, I mean, we should probably move to that quickly so that you can get it out of the way. I have a point to say with the clouds, but I want to kind of wait until after you've said your thing, because I have a theory.
Did I have
about
something
them.
to say about the clouds?
Well,
They're just very
colors.
They're bright.
The colors.
They're orange. They're the
The colors and how,
complements of blue.
Yeah, good. Keep going.
Okay. Okay.
Come on, baby, I got all night.
So let's see. No, I really like this piece, and I wanted to feature it because I thought it was very unique and well rendered. It is very colorful, but I find it still kind of it's still pleasing to look at. I feel, but it's still very vibrant. It's very livid. It's very colorful. It's pretty much the word. It's a really colorful piece, really bright piece.
Mm-hmm.
But the artist style I thought was again really unique, and everything is really well done and very cool. So like it's like in the shading, it's a hard level of shading. There's no like gradients in the piece, and everything is done in levels. Like it starts out as a bright level and then slowly recedes to a darker level in like 3 or 4 steps, and then things are outlined in a brighter color. So like the place where it's most visible is in like let's see, Nightmare Moon's wing, where it starts out with that white highlight, and then it gets a little starts to change hue, change shade, get a little bit darker, all the way to the bottom of the wing, and then it outlines that wing in a bright color, and that's present in everything. That's present in the clouds. It's like to the extreme in Luna's hair, and then even like in her tail as it like shifts those colors and shift those hues in levels, and like what is it? Luna's wings and like wing tips are also done really cool. So everything was done in, I thought, like a well-built fashion and in an interesting way. And I also really liked the composition, like how things were laid out and like how it had Nightmare Moon kind of behind Luna at like a different angle than her. And like when you look at the piece, you really look at that bottom left and that purple there. And then as it kind of brings your eye there, and as your eye starts there, it travels up like, and you start to look at Luna and then into Nightmare Moon, and then sort of travel off the page, kind of like following along Luna's wing, and then up with Nightmare Moon. And then those complements of orange and those bright clouds are kind of like interesting points to look at that kind of also attract your eye and like make you look at everything. But no, it was a really cool piece.
Okay, I just wanted to say one more thing about it, because I know we want to get on to questions soon. But I just wanted to say that sometimes it's interesting to look at things from the perspective of how they were made, in terms of like the process and the timing of things. Because I like to look at things as, well, it's hard to look at artists and not go, holy cow, this person is perfect. They just do everything right and everything they make is gold. And I can't ever be there. But sometimes it's nice to get kind of a humanizing factor to it. And that's why I was talking about a little bit earlier about the star maybe not being a super planned out move. And I think a similar effect might have been done with these clouds. I have no doubt that the artist probably could have planned these clouds out to be the color and in a place that they wanted to be. But I find it interesting that there's a possibility that this artist did the entire piece without those orange clouds, decided that the coloring wasn't right, and then using his or her knowledge of, colors and complements and things like that, made these kind of orange clouds in order to contrast between the purples and the blues that we see in the piece. Sorry, I just hit puberty there.
Yeah, you did.
The purples and the blues in the piece. And so it's kind of interesting. I don't know if that was done, planned or not planned, but I get the feeling that it wasn't something that was set from the beginning. Like, these clouds are going to be orange and everything else is going to be purple and blue. And I'd like to think that somewhere along the way, the artist knew enough about colors to go, wouldn't it be really interesting if I made this orange?
Yeah. So there was definitely an understanding of what does or does not look good,
And I don't think there's anything bad about saying, the artist didn't have everything planned from day one,
It's all part of the process, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's why you see a lot of really talented artists is they'll do multiple sketches and they'll change things as they go along, because they'll do a sketch and then they'll find that something doesn't work right, whether it's the composition or something like that, or the pose or anatomy or whatever, and then they'll go back and they'll redo it, and things change as you're working on a piece.
Something my painting one teacher used to say was that painting is the art of solving problems. That was one of his favorite quotes to use, because as you paint, you start and it's a process, and you start with something and then you just get to work and you have to work at it. You have a plan in mind and you have a blueprint, but as you're working on it, you'll constantly be faced with problems how do I make this hue shift or separate from one another? How do I make these colors blend, or how do I make these look good, or fix this anatomy, or create interesting focuses, in the scenario of the clouds, an interesting color focus or complement, and you're presented with these problems, and then how you solve them is how you make a painting. And if you solve them well, you're going to make a good painting, and if you solve them poorly, well, then you're probably not going to make a good painting. But it's if it's the art of solving problems, you can tell that you're a good problem solver if it comes out looking like a beautiful painting in the end. And I think this and a lot of our other examples are great examples of good painting, good art pieces, good problem solvers, so to speak.
Yeah,
I love Luna's season 1 hair in this one.
Yeah,
The way that I love the chunky sort of shading that people do in these sort of things. It's great.
Yeah, it is really unique. Also creates things to look at, tracks your eye.
So, questions. First time I've been to do it in a while, so let's do it. Let's get to it.
Yay.
We have 3 questions for this week. First one I've got here is by Silver Rain Clouds. Hi to you. Question: what types of art would you be interested in learning? I'm gonna go with Burn first.
How about I want to learn how to paint on magic cards. I want to do altars and stuff, because that's super cool. I want to learn how to do value studies digitally, because I also really like that. And then maybe cross-hatching or sketching and stuff.
Cross-hatching would be cool.
Yeah, that's some stuff that I'd like to learn how to do. There's a lot of art stuff I'd love to learn how to do, but I'm in the process. I'm an art student. I'm getting there.
I would love to do... I think, cross-hatching would be such a cool thing to learn how to do. I think it would take a lot of work and a lot of time, but it would be so rewarding.
Coming from an unrealistic perspective, I'd always kind of like to learn how to animate. I'm never going to do it because I don't have the time or the motivation, but I don't know. I always get there was this flash recently, this Octavia fighting flash. I think it was called Once Upon a Time in Canterlot or something like that. And I always get those fight scenes in my head, and I just wish I could sit down and spend the time to animate them and choreograph them. But so if I had a million years and I wanted to learn one art thing, it'd be how to animate and stuff like that.
Cool.
Okay. So cool. With my last one with me,
Yep.
I'm kind of trying to learn, but ultimately to be able to do proper paintings like the ones that we've seen today. From the other, the stuff that either digitally or traditionally. Either way, I'd be happy with any of them. But what I'm currently trying to work on is sketching, and the reason for that is because you can do it pretty much anywhere with any medium. So if you've got a pencil and a piece of paper, you've got a blank canvas, you can write, you can sketch, you can do whatever you want with that. Or if you've got a computer with a tablet, you can do that too. That's the reason why I wanted to really want to be able to do sketching, so you can make this and people can go away and do whatever they want with it. Like if you've got, it's not limited to a particular medium. So for example, animation, you're limited to a digital medium. If you can sketch, you can do it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Lies. You can animate traditionally.
That's true.
Yeah,
Flipbook
but
animation.
That's how all the Disney movies are like done.
Yeah, but you'd need to be able to paint or sketch.
They're also crazy.
Kind of on topic. I saw a movie about how animation was done like way back in the early 1900s, and it was so crazy. Like the amount of people that were working on the animation, like trying to get everything down, and like the amount of or like the different loopholes that the animators jumped through to kind of limit the amount of work that had to be done on it. Like if you go back and you watch like any hand done animation, you're gonna notice that like the subjects of the piece move a lot more than the background, and even that like the mouths move a lot more than the rest of the subjects. Like because they would only like the subject would be static and just the mouth would be animated.
Well, when I was in Japan, I went to the Studio Ghibli Museum, and I've got all of this stuff because he used to make all of his animations by hand, like movie length animations, all done by hand. He's had a couple of people in this room hand painting onto transparent slides. Like it's just hundreds and thousands of these that he used to combine and then film to make a film strip to make the movie. And this was back in 1988. Was I think My Neighbor Totoro when that was made. I think it was the most famous one, but it was all done by hand, and there's still like there's this room there just filled of this guy's work. It's just all over the walls. There's just hand drawn and hand painted slides and pictures from his sketchbook. It's incredible.
Yeah,
that is cool. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I wasn't allowed to take photos, so I've got nothing for you. But
yeah, no.
Next question.
Yeah,
next question. What is your favorite moment from My Little Pony from any season? Sent in by Ataka WP.
Ooh. Can I go first?
Yep.
Go for it.
One of my favorite moments by far was when Pinkie Pie sneezed confetti.
Yes.
It like blew my mind. Like I was just like, did she just sneeze confetti? Like did she just do that? Seriously? That was one of my favorites.
Okay.
Then all the sappy endings, the feels.
Me? Why are you picking me? I'm certainly
he's the question
screenshot,
overlord.
you bum.
Huh?
I can go next. I know what mine is.
Do it.
I think in the season finale of season 3, when Pinkie Pie finally like recovers from the whole Cutie Mark mismatch and everyone screams Pinkie, it's just so many feels. So many feels.
I hate you so much.
Feels. Why can't I hold on my feels, Rainbow Plasma?
Okay. I technically have 2 moments, but because I've come across this screenshot recently, I'll just post this and that'll be my answer.
Ew. Click.
Yeah.
What?
That's fantastic.
That's my favorite moment from season 3.
What?
I'm still waiting for it to load. Oh, that one. I don't know what this is from.
Nah.
It's from the tour of the crystal.
All their faces are so great. I love Rainbow Dash's face.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
So
you said there was another.
Oh, the other one was just during the what's the song? Is it True Friend song? When Rainbow Dash does the whole like Applejack needs your help, and she does that lean.
Little nuzzle into. Yeah. It wasn't really a nuzzle, but the leany bit into Rarity.
Yeah.
Like shoved her chest out at her.
Like nobody's gonna know what that is unless they like recently watched the last episode.
Oh no, it was up on Reddit. It was like one of the top posts.
Yeah, it was a big thing a while ago. She like thrust her chest out at Rarity.
Yeah.
That lean was cute. But no, seriously, that screenshot. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't really choose because I love everything that Pinkie Pie does, but just because it's recently in my head, the the Cutie Mark song from the finale. The bit where the slides come up in the last little bit of the song, and they all sing "My Cutie Mark is telling me." That's like my favorite bit, just where it's all like sparkly music in the background, and it's great.
Oh yeah, no, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That one little bit makes that song for me.
Love it.
Okay. So one final last question is, if you could be any animal besides a pony, what would you be and why? Sent in by Ayla Wolf.
That's a tough question.
I've got one.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Like a bird of prey.
Bird of prey. Maybe.
Like an eagle or something.
That
Because
was
the
the
whole
worst attempt at an Australian accent
that
I've
really
ever
was.
heard.
Like, I'm just ignoring it.
Yeah.
I'm not acknowledging it.
I'm not letting that pass by.
Just something that can fly. Because I love the
hard.
whole idea of flight and flying. That's why my OC is a Pegasus.
Hope you're reborn a penguin. Or an ostrich.
This is me.
The worst thing.
This picture of Pinky Dash just like falling over.
Anyone else? I'm still.
That's just
I'm still
evil.
thinking
And
about
people
it.
are going to make me as a penguin now, aren't they?
Yeah, someone draw Pinky Dash's OC as a penguin.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at you.
Ayla Wolf, yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hyla.
someone else.
Go ahead.
Nope, you. Photo guy. Go ahead.
Okay, I think I would probably be a fox because they're cute.
Aw.
And
And
fuzzy.
that's
They
the
also
only
kill
reason.
so many things.
I know. They're cute
It'd
and
be like
deadly.
a vegetarian. It'd be like a vegetarian fox.
No, I'd be an omnivore. Or omnivorous fox.
Eat things.
I would eat Pinky Dash as a bird.
Wow.
Because like you'd be an Arctic fox and you go eat penguins.
Yeah. Or we could we could have one of those symbiotic relationship kind of things. Yeah.
I
Next.
don't know what I'd be. Rare Plasma, you go.
I'm trying to look up the bird that I was gonna pick, but I don't know.
Sparrow.
I don't remember. No, there is it. Is it an osprey, which is the one that like swoops down super fast?
Yes, ospreys.
Yeah,
Nestlebird.
most birds of prey do that.
Mm-hmm.
No, the one that's like known for being like one of the fastest things on the planet.
What,
when
like
when
Bald
Bald
eagle
eagle was
falcon.
freedom.
Peregrine
That
falcons.
thing that like dives in the water.
Peregrine falcons
No,
are
no, no,
the
no.
fastest bird.
Kingfisher.
Peregrine falcons, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That thing.
I'll be that.
Kookaburra.
You should be a wonder bird.
Nope. Peregrine falcon.
You
That's
said
me.
that. You said that funny. Kookaburra.
Peregrine.
And bird. Have you
Can I
come
be
to the
in-
conclusion that you're going to be a worm?
No. My dog is growling at me. It's like, be me. Pick me. Be quiet, Shotzi. I'm recording. Can I pick an Eevee?
No,
Can I be
pick an
Eevee?
Eevee.
That's a
Eevee doesn't
that's an
exist.
animal.
No.
Pokemons are animals.
Mm-mm.
Pick a real animal.
I've just said worm.
I don't know. I don't have an animal. They're just like
You
I
should be
wanna
the honey
this
badger.
animal. That is pretty good. No, I'd probably honestly, I'd probably be like a dog. I'd probably be a schnauzer or something like my dog. Just because like it sounds weird, but I really like connect with like my dog that I'm now petting. Like how I act in real life slightly reflects how Shotzi, my dog, acts. Like that's really weird to say. But, like, I'll have, like, weird conversations with him, and, like, he has a personality, and, like, I kind of mirror his personality. I don't know, that's kind of weird to say, but...
Do you walk around on all
be a
fours?
schnauzer. Because, like, when I picture myself kind of, like, in an animal form, like, if I could be an animal, I would picture myself acting like my dog.
Yeah, it's a connection too. There's a connection between man and dog. There's something there, you know,
Yeah.
that's kind of hard to describe for anything else. So I can understand how you might want that, you know, regardless of what species you were.
Plus, there's the whole walking around and sniffing other people's butts thing.
Oh, yeah, you can't... That never gets old, right?
Burned, you can be my pet. I will pat you all day.
I'll be your Shotzi. You know what that means, right? Shotzi in German means my little sweet one.
Aww.
Nah.
Yeah. Good boy.
And then that
You and me today, we're just connecting.
on that sappy note.
I'm going to start plugs.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. So we have a DeviantArt page, which is cutieartcrusaders.deviantart.com, all one word. We have an email account, which is cutieartcrusaders@gmail.com. Send us in questions, even though we've got a lot at the moment, which is awesome. Also, if you've got anything you need us to talk to us about, go to our DeviantArt page because it's the quickest way to get in contact with us, as well as our own individual accounts, so you can find us all there really easy. Also, stuff from today's episode and previous episodes we haven't been able to show for lack of time.
Yep.
Social media.
We have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Cutie Art Crusaders. You can go there, give us a like. We'll post on the day of an episode when it's going to be released. And we also have a Twitter account, which is @CutieArtCrusade. There you can find up-to-the-minute information on the episode of the day, or sometimes we'll just post stuff that we find cool.
Well, that's not exactly true, but
yeah,
like you can go to whatever place you prefer, DeviantArt, Facebook, Twitter. That's where you can get like updates on the day.
Yep.
To remind you.
Also on the YouTubes, because Burn answers them.
Yes.
Yeah, me.
Yay.
Well, thank you everyone for watching, whether or not you're on the live stream or YouTube. We love you all the same. We'll see you guys next week for... Do we have a theme yet for next week?
Not yet.
We're trying to be better about that because we know you guys have started asking us and you guys enjoy when we tell you kind of the themes in advance. In order to give you guys some time to send us some stuff. So we're looking into ways in order to be more organized, in order to give you guys a heads up each week. So hopefully you guys can keep us to that so that we start getting better at that. And maybe starting next week, we'll be able to be kind of like a week ahead.
Nice. I think by the time this airs, we should have a theme up. So hopefully whoever's in the chat can say
Hey, Burned, you're editing this week.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a theme prepared.
Hey,
put it on the screen.
Hey guys, can we do the wind as the theme?
We already did that.
We did?
I think we did.
Oh.
No.
I didn't think we did.
Anyway, this is the theme on your screen right now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
we did
gonna
weather.
be
That was the theme.
Yeah.
Do
did
that.
weather.
It's
Whatever
not,
is
it's not weather, it's not wind. Okay.
No,
So,
it's
yeah.
written on the screen. Do that.
Yes.
Big,
That
bright,
is our
flashing.
theme.
I think that's all.
I mean,
It's
Burns,
like
that's a bit bright, and I mean, it's so big I can't even read it anymore. It's getting bigger, burned.
Burned.
Oh
my God, it's taking over the world.
oh look, now it's flashing. It's flashing all colors now. Okay. Anyway, done.
Oh, now it's tiny. I can't even see. Okay, sorry. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to send in questions and art and stuff to our email. And my name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Brenda 1.
I'm Flutterguy317.
And I'm Pinky Dash.
And the text is coming back on the screen.
God dang it.
Everybody run!
Ending episode.
Bye.